Okay, this might be long, rambly, and we'll talk about my feelings, which I mostly avoid. I don't like personalising this too much, but it's sort of related to what happened to me last night, and it might affect my men's rights work. And I want to be truthful as possible without ego defence. There's going to be none of this like MGTOW posturing, tradcom posturing nonsense. Okay, because I'm going to be honest about my weaknesses as a male. Okay, so by the way, I've been banned from Reddit, which is completely unfucking fair. But that's a massive digression. Falsely accused of harassment by the Reddit mods, which is completely fucking ridiculous. I've never ever followed anyone around on Reddit and carried on messaging them or harassed them. And I don't even swear at people on Reddit that much anymore. I don't call people names on Reddit, okay? Because I didn't want to get banned. I'm actually a lot more rude to people on Twitter than I am on Reddit. So I think I just pissed a feminist off, and she just reported me for harassment. So I think a feminist was rude to me, and I messaged her back in private, messaged her, and I mocked her, which I shouldn't have done, but it wasn't stalking because she blocked me right away, so there's no stalking there. And she was contacting me unsolicited anyway, so I don't get the logic of it. If that's the reason, maybe they just looked at my profile and just decided to look for a pretext to ban me. But I was basically sarcastic with a man hater and just called her a liar, basically. So anyway, I got banned, and that sort of pissed me off. And YouTube shenanigans are pissing me off as well. So I lost a lot of work on this, okay, because this is one of my longest term profiles ever. And I just lost it unfairly. It's the unfairness, it's the arbitrariness of it that annoys me, right? And I'm just gonna say right here and now, I'm not gonna respect this ban. I'll be back. I'll be back. That's all I'm gonna say, right? I'm appealing it right now, but I'll be back. If I'm just arbitrarily banned unfairly, I'm not gonna respect their rules, right? Okay. So there's that. So I was reading this post, and I'll go through this post later in this video. But it caused me to have a massive, massive meltdown. Okay, and it was like suppressed feelings and stress and resentment and anger. Like I used to get really angry at Misandry on social media, and I tended to react, and I used to get angry back, and I used to like blah blah blah. I'd be really impulsive, and sometimes I still am, but it was a lot better. Like I'd like say things back to people, and I was reading this, and it's like I had a mental break. I had like a mental breakdown. It was like shock. I was just reading this and how this guy was treated, and the complete contempt they have for this guy, right? And it was just like shock, and I still feel a bit shocked right now. It's hard to explain, right? I was like, oh my god! I'm normally always doing something, playing games, reading stuff online. Uh, I'm always doing something, writing stuff, right? I like to be active. I didn't do anything for like 4 hours last night. I just lay there, thinking. I was like in shock, and I think there's a lot of suppressed feelings I have about misandry and how women think of men and how actually men think of men, because that actually makes things worse. Like men are not our emotional refuge. So when I first realised that women don't like men and don't like males, right? It really really hurt me. It really really hurt me. I'm not going to put them up front about it. It hurt me. The fact that I thought, the thing is, when women used to talk about men hurting them and they felt oppressed by men, they're scared of men, that used to hurt me as well, because I used to sort of believe it. I never 100% believed it because I don't think I'm like other people, but I still sort of believed it. Like, it hurt me that women were scared and they disliked me and they hated me. It hurt me because I love women, actually. I don't love them as much as I used to when I was a teenage boy, right? But I still have affection for women. I still know some women I've got affection for, online and in real life. Okay, and I'm still capable of loving women. If a woman showed me affection and intimacy, And even if I didn't find her attractive, but if she showed me affection, intimacy, and she told me she loved me, I'd probably love her back, right? Okay. And if I found her attractive, that would just be a bonus, right? And I've got this desire to open up to women and be intimate with them, because intimacy is more than sex. It's about trust and vulnerability. That's what intimacy is. Men want to be intimate with women. Okay, so I've got these desires. So when women hate on me, it causes me pain. And it used to cause me a lot more pain, and I thought I was over it. Okay, it makes me angry, but I wouldn't say it makes me pain. I'm not emotionally wounded. It didn't cause me pain because I know who these women are. I hold them in contempt. If they hate me, I hate them, and I know there's no reasoning with them. They don't hate me for any reason. They hate me innately for who I am. They hold their idea of males, the concept of males in contempt. They don't like men for who they are, and they especially hate low status men, right? Now, I don't think most women actually hate men like radical feminists do, and it's not. I'm not saying it's a code, because I think like 10-20% of women are radical feminists and they do hate men, right? I think it's a very, very large minority who hate men. But the problem is a lot of women are and it's a spectrum as well, and a lot of women are indifferent to men in a very psychopathic manner. They're enablers or indifferent, and that's what gets me angry as well. I don't like that. So a lot of women are enablers. Okay, and again, it's a spectrum. And also, it's weird because one of the women who have the best girl for all I've ever been with was a feminist, right? And it was during my MGTOW phase as well. I was like posturing hard. This is like over 10 years ago now. I noticed over 10 years ago because I know what movie I saw with her in the cinema. Movies I saw in the cinema, I still remember them. And I was posturing really hard as a MGTOW all the fucking time. I used to talk about how I don't need women, I don't want women, right? I was posturing so fucking hard. Right? Right? So, and it was weird because like, she was a radical feminist, but I could tell she was really attracted to me, and I could tell she felt affection innately for me, right? But then it was time to dump me, and she just switched it off, right? And I was also very conflicted. I acted very weirdly, right? I was very ambivalent about it because I was acting in ways to drive her off, and I was but I was still with her, right? It was very, very dysfunctional. It was very, very weird. And when she dumped me, I was very upset, and I made crying, rambling videos about it years ago on my YouTube when I was drunk. Actually, it's pathetic. It's fucking pathetic. Yeah, but what can you say? So, yeah. So I'm just saying. I gave up on women as an emotional refuge, my idea of being intimate with them, so I turned to men for emotional intimacy. Right, I wanted to be close with men, I wanted to trust men, and it's like I don't particularly like men that much. I probably still like men better than women right now. In some ways, I like women better, in some other ways, I don't like men. It's not a simplistic statement, right? Because in some ways, men are actually more hostile to men than women. It depends on the situation. Like, in this thread I'm going to read, I think it's the men who are the worst ones here. They're the ones dogpiling this guy about child support. They're really ripping him apart like Rottweilers. So it depends. But I failed to find an emotional refuge in men. MGTOW is one big posturing cope. And I realise when men are saying, oh, I'm going my own way, they're basically saying, I don't give a fuck about other men. Right? They're not just saying I'm on my own. They're saying to you, you're on your own. I don't care about you. And there's so many stories I could tell you about MGTOW as well. My personal interactions with them. Like I've known like MGTOW forum owners who shut down their forum. There's a blog post about it in the Promo Collective. Right? They've shut down their blog post when they get a girlfriend. The girlfriend dumps them and they come crawling back. Now I'm going to talk about compartmentalization. Because I can compartmentalize. Right, so I can feel affection for a woman. Like, if there's a woman who I felt affection for, if there's a woman who was having sex with me right now and I had a relationship with her and I was banging her, and everything. I wouldn't lose my mind and think about moving in with her and loving her, and she's the one for me forever and ever. Blah 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 blah. Like a lot of men do, even after getting dumped repeatedly, and even though they're like middle age or even old age, I've seen it. They'll just keep on going for the new one over and over and over again. Right? I'd be able to compartmentalize. Right? Women can actually compartmentalize far more effectively than men. Right? And this is, I'm going to digress again into it because there's another thing. I wanted to do a short video on this, right? This concept, compartmentalization. I've got to talk about this more, but men seem to talk about love in terms of absolutes. So it says, oh, this woman, he's with this man, he does love him after all. Basically, women can compartmentalize it. They can feel affection in the moment. They can melt in your arms. Right? They can melt in your arms and you can be in them. You can be inside them. You can be intimate. They can be yielding and you can be yielding to them. Whispering sweet nothings. You can feel their breath on you. You can smell their pheromones. But they can switch it off. They can compartmentalize. Men can't. Men can't with women. Most men can't. Right? They'll be distraught. They'll still love them. Like women can treat their men like shit. Right? And they can't compartmentalize. They still love them, right? And even I'm not saying the compartmentalization is either good or bad. Like I think like pretending to love someone or loving someone and then just being ruthless and mistreating them afterwards, like and then they're suddenly dead to you. That compartmentalization, that's wrong, right? Okay, but I think it's actually more healthy in a lot of ways. And in some ways, women have got a healthier attitude towards men than men have towards women, right? Because to me, it's more healthy to hold someone in contempt than it is to be obsessed over them. So anyway, I feel close to women. And on some level, their hatred and contempt for me and their indifference for me causes me pain. And the contempt and hatred that men feel towards other men has actually caused me pain, and it actually makes me very angry as well. I'm actually very bitter about it. Because women are women, they're their own group. They've got their own in-group bias, right? I can understand that on some sort of political, tribal level, even though I don't agree with it, right? I can understand, like, but men, they just sell themselves out. Because it's instinct to get mating rights, to out-group bias, who knows? But men will sell other men out. And, fucking hell, and here's another thing as well, right? All these concepts, men's rights activists, all these concepts, over and over again, you explain things to them. They make the same mistakes over and over and over again. I still see MRAs bigging up Betty Friedan, right? Because she paid some lip service to like liberating men from their gender roles and empowering women and not holding women back so it can help lift men up, blah, 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 all that platitude shit, right? MRAs, by now, should know that was a lie. That's just platitudes, right? I've seen I still see MRAs talk about, oh yeah, the old school feminists are for equality. And I've actually been banned and called misogynist for pointing out that they weren't, right? So you can't even fucking educate MRAs. They're so fucking useless. So, my pro-male collective is good, but it's tiny. Some very good men in the pro-male collective. Shill for Men, City Crusher, Alex Cat. And there's some very good people who are not content makers as well. Right, and there's lots of good new content makers as well. So there are good men, but in general, they're useless, and that stresses me out as well because I'm not making progress. I want to make progress because I've noticed MRAs are in cope mode. I don't deal in cope mode. I want solutions. I want progress. And even if it was like this is going to take 500 years, you're only adding 1% of the progress towards male liberation. I'll like, good, cool, 1%, 500 years time. I'm working towards something. I could cope with that. Right? But I genuinely feel it's hopeless because men don't fucking learn. They're not progressing. In a lot of ways, they're regressing. Right? So anyway, I was reading this, right? And this is what caused me some breakdown because I think it's accumulation of all these factors. I felt like this is built up into me mentally. Right? Okay. And am I wrong for telling my girlfriend I'm not going to be in our baby's life? I'm not, and there's loads of threads. I can't find a lot of the threads again. There's 8K comments. But you can check this thread out yourself. And you can you can like verify what I'm saying about this thread. Okay, throw away account. Need help. Air Force E5 overseas in EU sprang Germany. So he's an American soldier in German military bases. Went back to CO MS where my girlfriend lives. So that's in the US state. We've been having long distance for the past year. I took my 2 weeks and went home to see her a few months ago. So she found out she was like pregnant 2 weeks ago, and when she went in for a regular, she's been missing a period, but she didn't think anything of it because she misses it a lot. She was on birth control and admitted she hadn't been taking it consistently. So he's obviously been entrapped. I consider that entrapment. Okay. Okay. So feminists consider stealthing, poking holes in a condom, a form of rape. Right. I think rape's too strong a word for it. It's some sort of sexual coercion of some sort. Even though it's the man entrapping himself when he does it. Okay, but there are bizarre men who actually want to impregnate women. They've got an impregnation fetish, right? But anyway, it's wrong. I do consider it a crime without consent. If you poke a hole in a condom to get a woman pregnant without consent, I consider that wrong. You should be punished. Okay. So what she's doing is the equivalent of that. Okay, it's some form of. I consider it some form of sexual assault. I think rape's too strong a word. It would be some form of sexual assault. Rape. Let's call it fucking. It's gonna lead to child support rape as well and enslavement. Enslavement's a form of rape. Okay. Okay. She's keeping the baby. She's not gonna change her mind on that. Her profile. I don't want the baby. She's. Oh no, she's pro-life. I don't want the baby. This is gonna ruin my life and my plans. I want to withdraw my rights. Now the problem with this guy is that he should have known better. Right? like these guys, like deer in the headlights, they act like they don't know. Like I knew how the system worked. I knew how the system worked. I was curious. I researched it. I know how the system works in the USA, UK, and in some European countries like Germany and Spain. Right? Canada. Don't act like I don't know every. I don't know how it works in Ireland or France or Russia. Right? I know how it works in Pakistan, for example. I know it works in Iran, but it's still very spotty. But I've shown interest, I've shown curiosity. A lot of this information is quite hard to find. But I've shown interest and curiosity. I'm learning. But this guy was blindsided. Blindsided. Okay. So anyway, lame jokes. Seeing you're picking the wrong time to withdraw. Loads of upvotes. Shots fired. That's what got me into trouble in the first place. You lot. Ha ha ha. So these lame jokes like dogpiling him. Critical hit. No evasive action available. So they're just gloating about he's entrapped. So he's going to be paying child support. And he's going to be forced to pay child support for a baby he did not consent to have. Okay. This woman entrapped him as far as I'm concerned. And men have a right to give up responsibility. Because she has the right to give up responsibility. She can just abandon a baby. Women who abandon their babies don't pay child support towards the foster parents or the home system. They go, oh, poor vulnerable women. We shouldn't force them to do stuff. It's wrong to coerce women into doing stuff, but coercing men is absolutely fucking 100% A-okay. Right? Should have been more careful and knew the risks. Birth control can get you pregnant even if you take it religiously. It's called life. So when men are discriminated against and oppressed, it's called life. Oh yeah, you should have known the risk. It's just life. When people perceive things being unfair for women, they circle the wagons. Go, no, we've got to change the system. This is unfair. This is an outrage. This woman's a victim. Complete 180. They got gold. So yeah. My grandson is a BCP and a condom baby. Right, so yeah, there you go. So basically, I can't find a comment. I don't want to drag this video out too much longer. I will probably post this on my blog. But basically, they tracked this guy down because he gave away too many information. Because apparently most guys in the army are married. Because it's a welfare system to give tradcon money to bribe women into their lives, right? That's what the army is. But they can narrow down the information, and they think it's some guy. I don't want to talk about who he is in case they're correct, but they've tracked him down and they've snitched on him, and they've told his superior officers apparently, and there's other guys in the army who are doing this in the same military unit have done this apparently. They've tracked him down. Okay, and it's a lot of men dogpiling on him. And what I find really frustrating is when it comes to this child support debate, it's really, it's like if a woman, even if she blatantly stops taking birth control, right? People just erase that and go, oh, he has to man up. He has to man up. He's got to take responsibility, even though he has no rights. Because even if he wants to be a willing father, he can still be pushed away and made to pay child support. I mean, no rights, no responsibilities. But they do this. Oh, he's got to man up. He's got to take responsibility, right? Don't have sex. Should have kept in his fucking pants, which pro-life people don't accept for a second. Now, even in his thread, there's women in here talking about having abortions, right? Okay, and these tradcon men, they'll dogpile a man telling him to man up, right? But there's this many people posting. There's bound to be pro-life tradcons, right? Why aren't they jumping on the pro-choice women, who've had abortions? Why aren't they jumping on them and telling them to women up, right? So, oh, it's for the children. You've got to look after the children. But when it's abortion, nah, who cares? You can kill it. Or even if she gives the baby up, they don't go, oh, it's so awful. The baby needs a mother. You've got to look after him. You've got a woman up. They don't do that. They only do it for fucking men. They only do it for fucking men. And they always erase the accountability of the women. Right? It fucking winds me up. Like, literally. I've actually done ranting videos on this subject before. Well, I rant about this. It gets me really angry. It's just the barefaced cheek of it. Like, what sort of fucking troglodyte do you have to be to go, keep it in your pants? Like, sex for women is not consent to motherhood, and it should be consent to fatherhood for men. And again, what these arseholes don't realise, they complain about my taxes and single motherhood, right? What these idiots don't realise, yeah, is that child support incentivises single motherhood and creates more single motherhood, and women on child support still get get benefits of welfare and housing. So it still costs taxpayers money. And the child support system, if I remember correctly, if I remember wrong, please correct me. But I remember reading somewhere on the men's rights Reddit, on a post with links, that the child support system takes in less money than it costs to run it. Right? So it's not about saving money, is it? Society's basically spending money to torment and hound men and enslave them. So anyway, all these feelings I have about women, I have about men, about human nature, the contempt they have for men, right? It just came pouring out last night, and it's like, oh, so I'm still gonna make content. I can't walk away from this, even though it's causing me stress. I feel even if it's hopeless, I feel morally I've got to do what I've got to do. I've got to speak out and say my piece, right? But there might be times where I just take long breaks. I will try not to be too long. I've taken breaks in the past, and I felt really guilty about it. Okay? Taking breaks in the past. But I'm not going anywhere. But I might take breaks. Because I know I'm not going anywhere, because I just felt so fed up and sick and despondent last night. And the thing is, it was in the back of my head to delete my YouTube channel and delete all my media. It's very flaky, unstable behaviour, I know, but it was in the back of my head to do it. But I wasn't close to doing it, right? I wasn't close to doing it, I think. And I can't walk away, but I can understand why men walk away, because like there's some men, I think deep down they don't care about men's rights, even though they're speaking about them. They're speaking for it about other motives. I think there's a lot of men with status anxiety who talk about men's rights, and it's really about their status anxiety, right? But I do think a lot of men just burn out. They're not getting positive feedback. It's a dead end, and you just give up because it's stressful. And there's someone, I used to judge him really harshly, and I think I've forgiven him for doing this, but I used to judge him really harshly because he was a young boy at the time, teenager. There was someone called Spinosaurus Kin, and well, I haven't forgiven him. I remember what he actually did. He walked away from men's rights, which I forgive him for. right? But then he did a 180 and he became a male feminist, right? He became a male feminist. And look, maybe he did it to save himself and protect his status and protect his future employment. Because feminists follow people around. They follow people around. There's some academic professor who got Me Too'd, right? And the women were caught colluding with it, and he still got booted out of academia. And he got a new job, and the feminists followed him around and got him fired. So I can understand why men capitulate and why they're scared, because a man without status is a nobody, and he's resentful. Yeah, and he's burnt up. Yes. Yeah, it's sort of been like a therapy session, actually. I'm not going to do videos like this regularly. But yeah, I've got burnout for men's rights right now. So I'm going to take a break for a few days from the social media, from the Reddit posts. Because I'm banned from Reddit anyway, but I'm not going to bother making a new account right now. But I will be back. I will make more videos. I will do more blog posts. I'm committed to this. And I've got to say, what I want to do, I eventually want to get a point where my group grows so big that someone else creates their own group, like a splinter cell, right? Someone trustworthy, who's got the ideological foundation of pro-maleness, who's completely trustworthy. Boom. He makes his own cell and it spread and grows. That's what I'm actually aiming for the next few years, right? A cult leader wants to control everything. Right? I do control stuff because I don't want it derailed, I don't want it hijacked, but I want someone who I can trust to make their own group using our branding or similar branding. It doesn't matter. As long as it's the ideas, the promo ideas, holding their frame, not giving into the feminist frame of reference. Yeah, not having status, not talking about status anxiety and coping. Because the coping. Like sometimes even like right wingers, they'll have like an insight, they'll have a breakthrough. You can see they sort of realizing this is not working, the coping, but then they revert right back to coping, the coping, the defense mechanisms, the ego defense, the coping. No, you're male, you're vulnerable, you've got psychological inclinations to love women. If a man is shown affection and love by a woman, he's happy as a pig in shit. I've seen it. I've seen men with their wives, with their spouses, their girlfriends, right? And they're just watching. They're watching their partners with awe, right? With awe. They're in cloud nine. That's what men are. And there's no excuse though. You've got to compartmentalize this and fight for your rights. I never tell people not to date. I never tell people what to date because it's fucking posturing. I want men who can date, right, and have relationships and still be compartmentalized enough to fight for their fucking rights. That's what I fucking want. Yeah, that's what we fucking need. So, this is long and massive, over and out. Blah, blah, blah.